World Cup 2026 group stage draw finally dropped. Quick, rapid fire thoughts on each group, maybe some predictions. Group A, Mexico, South Africa, Korea Republic, winner of playoff D. This is actually one of the most balanced groups from this draw, and it might be a sneaky candidate for a group of death because you can really see any combination of these teams advancing in any order from this. There's not one distinct clear favorite, even with Mexico at home, given the shape that Mexico's been in recent years. And I think that presents an element of danger for Mexico, really, in coming out of this group. This is a repeat of the 2010 opening match, by the way, between Mexico and South Africa. How the turntables, huh? But Korea, I think, having the best attack of any team in this group that we know so far. We're still waiting on the identity of the UEFA Playoff D. But if you're Ireland, Denmark, Czechia, or even North Macedonia, and you come into this group, you got to be somewhat relieved that you didn't bag one of the heavy hitters like Spain or Brazil or the Netherlands or Germany. And I think that it's not necessarily an ideal draw for Mexico, although it could have been a whole lot worse. It's hard to predict anything because you don't know who the UEFA side will be. I don't want to go into like an extensive deep diving analysis, but this is a group I can see a lot of draws. And I wouldn't be surprised if whoever tops it actually does so with only about 5 points. Group B, Canada, winner of playoff A from UEFA, Qatar, and Switzerland. This is very interesting. Canada, you got to beat Qatar. Best third place teams advance. Let's say you get a lesson given to you by a very seasoned, disciplined Switzerland national side who has experience in making it out of the group stages of World Cups and major tournaments. Who Canada plays in Toronto in that Group B opener, it could be Italy. And I'm going to put my neck out on the line here and say that if it's Italy, guys, don't be shocked if Canada gives the world its first upset in this tournament on day 2. There's a lot of Italian Canadians that live in Toronto. Toronto will be positively lit if that first game is between Canada and Italy. And look, I don't think Italy are anything spectacular. I'm just going to go ahead and say if they qualify, which they might not, it could be Bosnia, it could be Wales, it could be Northern Ireland. Canada would much prefer it be one of those other 3 instead of Italy. I think Italy would be ripe for the picking in that circumstance, given the brand of football that Canada plays usually on the wings, counterattacking. Qatar, I think they're going to finish with 0 points. Just like the last World Cup, 2 UEFA teams, a host nation, they're getting 0 points. I don't care. Julian Lopetegui, he's not going to pull this out of the hat. Switzerland, can they break the first knockout stage game curse? They might be favorites to top this group, and I low-key think they will top this group. Group C, Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, Scotland. Wow, run it back to 1998, Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. Again, with Haiti in the mix, 1974. So just to get this out of the way, I think Haiti is going to be group stage fodder for everybody here. I think they will lose all their games, every single one, by at least 3 goals each. I'm being a little bit harsh here. Maybe that last match, maybe against Morocco will field a second-string group of players. I do think Haiti will score because they are quite cogent going forward. So I do think they will find the back of the net at least once or twice in this group. Brazil-Haiti is going to be interesting. A lot of Haitians support Brazil. They're a very football-mad country. They love Brazil. Morocco-Brazil is going to be one of the juiciest ties of the first round. Can Morocco get an upset? They beat Brazil in a friendly, I believe, last year. Will they be entering this as the AFCON champs? Scotland is back in the World Cup, and honestly, I kind of like Scotland's chances of finally making it out of the first round for the first time in their long history. You get 3 points on Haiti, you should make it through it. I think they can get out a draw, maybe against Morocco. But even if they lose, keep the margins respectable. Scotland's going to be a very difficult team to come up against. They're going to have a great fan base, very spirited side. I'm going to talk about the USA's group last. Going on to Group E, Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, Ecuador. I think Curacao is more toasted than a marshmallow on a s'more at a campfire. They will lose all 3 games. They will not score a single goal. I think Haiti will lose, but they will score. I don't see Curacao scoring. Not on Germany. Not against Cote d'Ivoire, not on Ecuador, who barely gives up anything already as it is. This is a very decent fight here for these other spots. Ivory Coast and Ecuador is going to be one of the best games, I think, of the first round between nations that will be battling most likely for second. But I don't rule out the possibility that Ecuador can pip Germany for first. If Germany is not able to beat Ecuador, I could actually see that being a scoreless draw with Ecuador just pulling that out of their behinds. Very comprehensively difficult side to break down. Ivory Coast are actually the reigning AFCON champions. That might change in a few weeks. Good opportunity for Cote d'Ivoire to get out of the group for the first time, too, and I think they should. They really, really should. Group E, Netherlands, Japan, winner of Playoff B, and Tunisia. So Playoff B would be Sweden, Poland, Albania, or Ukraine. Interesting group. This could be quietly tough. As far as upsets go, if Japan can invoke what they did in 2022 and capitalize on the Netherlands' inconsistency, I actually could see Japan upsetting the Dutch here and possibly maybe topping this group in the process. But you don't really know what you're going to get with Japan either. They haven't really been there themselves since the end of the last Asian Cup. Tunisia, they always get something from their group. They never exit with 0 points. They could play spoiler. Are they good enough to advance? Sure. I mean, they're one of the most organized defensively teams on the African continent. They don't produce a lot of talent to the extent that the other Maghrebi nations do, but they are always a side that you don't want to underestimate. They're always there or thereabouts in the World Cup. Can they get something? It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. I think whoever that European team is, it's going to matter a lot. If it's Sweden, you get a very interesting dynamic here because that's a very individually talented Swedish side. If it's Poland, they play the Netherlands in qualifying. They could be meeting here again. They drew them twice. Could be a rematch between Japan and Poland from the 2018 World Cup. And if it is Ukraine, who knows? Who knows? But I could see Japan playing to its full potential and topping this group. Group G, this is a godsend for Egypt. I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but this draw was kind. First of all, it was kind to Belgium. Belgium was the biggest winner of the 2026 World Cup draw, in my opinion. Seeded team, they got relatively not very strong sides from all 3 pots. I think Belgium should top with 9 points. Yes, I know they're not what they used to be. The golden generation is effectively over. They had an easy group on paper at the last Euros that they made a meal out of, but this is still New Zealand, Iran, who is not doing so hot. Egypt, who in the last window is really starting to worry me with those performances and those friendlies against Uzbekistan and Cape Verde. Belgium should still top this group. They should still get 9 points. Egypt, I don't want any excuses. Egypt can finish in last. We could get 6 points from this group with the shape that Iran is in and New Zealand being a very hardworking, albeit limited team. Now, I have to talk about New Zealand a bit because I don't think they should be discarded here. I have noticed movement with the Kiwis these last few months. These friendlies they've been playing with the likes of Norway and Colombia, the United States last year, they have improved. There is some quality here with New Zealand. They're a team whose sum is better than its parts. I actually think they're a top 100 national team right now. Nothing major to write home about, but still, if you're Egypt, you wanted from pot 4 either New Zealand or a CONCACAF team like Curacao. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I will be disappointed if Egypt does not advance. I will consider it a failure, and I think that's a reasonable take. I would very much like to come in second here, but if we can get third even with 4 points, beat New Zealand, draw Iran, lose to Belgium, that should be enough. It really should be enough. I'm excited for Egypt. I'm very optimistic. Spain, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. Spain should feast. They should feast upon Saudis. They should feast upon Cabo Verde. Welcome to the World Cup, by the way, Cabo Verde. And this Uruguay team, who's on the verge, Bielsa, of losing the locker room, fan and team morale at an all-time low. He should have left yesterday. He should have been gone a while ago. The collapse from Uruguay since the last Copa America has been very much noticeable. And I actually think right now, on current form, Uruguay might be the worst South American team at this tournament. And if you want like a prediction as far as an upset go, I know Saudi Arabia have not been spectacular. I actually think they're going to come second because I think that the opposite dynamic of Bielsa with Uruguay, Hervé Renard knows these guys inside and out for his second stint in charge with Saudi Arabia, and I can actually see them riding that World Cup experience, that pedigree, just to pip Cabo Verde. But Cabo Verde has an opening here. If they really have an opening here, they're in with a shot. If they can get a win in this group, maybe pull off an upset against Uruguay the way they did against Cameroon, they could be a surprise darling in this tournament. You never know. Group I with France, Senegal, Norway, playoff winner 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, playoff winner 2 is the Iraq playoff, right, with Suriname, Bolivia. God rest the soul of anybody who comes through that, because that should be 3 losses. France, Norway, you come through the playoffs, you're going to deal with Mbappe and Haaland, and you're going to deal with one of the strongest, most in-depth African sides. That should be 0 points. Senegal, this is hard. This is hard. France, Senegal's a rematch of the 2002 opener, guys. How are these 3 teams going to finish, in what order? I think it is possible Norway can pip France for first. Maybe not necessarily beat France, but if France don't beat Norway and Haaland and Sorloth and Odegaard, all these guys just pop off, they score more goals than France, they could finish first on goal difference. And in fact, I think that's going to be my early prediction. I think Norway will come first in this group, France in second, Senegal third, Iraq, who I think will qualify, in last. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, Jordan. Kind draw for Argentina. It's kind. Not like, obviously this was rigged for them. No. But I think Argentina should get 9 points. I think the biggest threat in this group is Austria. I don't see Jordan doing much of anything except absorbing pressure. Algeria is not what they used to be. I don't rate the defense right now. I think they're being a little bit overrated for this upcoming AFCON. I'm noticing some other people who do analysis. I think they're still in that rebuilding phase. They might make a quarterfinal run in AFCON, but I just think that they're going to be so susceptible to that attack from Argentina, and they're going to be susceptible to Austria as well. But Austria, you can never trust them. They can be really good on one day, beating the Netherlands in the last Euros, and then they can drop points to Bosnia, Romania in qualifying. Is this an opening for Algeria, Jordan, to come through? Maybe it is, but I think Argentina should finish top. Maybe Algeria can get revenge for the disgrace of Gijón in 1982 and beat Austria and come in second. I don't know. Group K with Portugal, Uzbekistan, Colombia, and the playoff winner 1, which I think will be Congo. Interesting group. Portugal, Colombia is going to be electric. It is going to pop off. Portugal, Colombia. I cannot wait to watch that. DR Congo, Uzbekistan, the debutant, DR Congo back for the first time in a while. They're going to be a difficult team. Yes, I'm assuming DR Congo will qualify. I'll consider it a failure if they don't. Their presence will make this group stronger than Jamaica or New Caledonia will. It just will. Congo has a chance. Uzbekistan have a chance. If one of them can beat the other, maybe get something from Colombia. It's going to be very hard to do that. You never know. This is a group to keep an eye on. The last one, England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. I get why English people are kind of annoyed with this. It's a 2018 rewind to Croatia and Panama. Just like Qatar, I think Panama's going to repeat with 0 points. I don't see. Yes, I think even Ghana will, as uninspiring as they are, I think Ghana will get a victory here. And Ghana is in with a shout of doing something in this group, maybe squeezing into the knockout round. I have no faith in Panama after what I saw in qualifying. I think Thomas Christensen is an absurdly overrated coach. England, Croatia. That's got a very Drub Dyer 0-0 written all over it. Maybe a 1-0 Thomas Tuchel style like slugfest where England gets out of it and grabs the 9 points. England should get 9 points. Now, the United States. I don't want any of my American viewers to think I'm being pessimistic or analyzing it too much. This is actually a low-key, very difficult group because of the fact that it's balanced. There is not any team in this group with USA, Paraguay, Australia, playoff winner C. There's no standout team that you look at and say they are clear favorites to come through. We played Australia and Paraguay just recently in friendlies. How very prophetic, and we beat both of them. Depending on how you look at it, that could be a good sign. It can also be a worrisome sign because they're going to come prepared next year and knowing what to expect, so we have to be ready for them too. If Turkey qualifies from that path, guys, this group can finish in any order possible. Do you agree, disagree? Just like Mexico's group, this can finish in any order possible. Paraguay beat Argentina and Brazil in qualifying. They have, who I have called, the best coach, national team coach in the Americas right now, or at least one of them in Gustavo Alfaro. Australia is a gritty, pain-in-the-butt side to play against. I think we're better than them, man per man. I think we have way more depth and quality than they do, certainly more talent playing in Europe. But they're not a team that you look forward to playing to. I'm not going to lie and say they were not one of the more preferable Pot 2 teams. They were. They are one of the more preferable Pot 2 teams. I think other than Australia, I would have liked Iran. But it's going to be difficult. Guys, it's not going to be... I think on paper we should come through. I would like us to come in first. I think we can, but I could see us, if we're not on our game, fine margins. I could see us slipping up. We have to be careful. And I'm not just saying this because I'm American. I think this is low-key a candidate for possible group of death just because of how balanced it is. There's no superpower in this group. There's no obvious weak link in this group that all the other teams can look at and say, yeah, you know what? We should get 3 points off of you. That's in the bank. And that's a dangerous situation for everybody involved in Group D. There is no Saudi Arabia, there is no Qatar, there is no Curacao, there is no Haiti, there is New Zealand, there is no Jordan. There is no obvious weak link. There is none. So the USA has to be very careful here. I'm kind of spooked out a little bit, but I know this team. I know our players. I believe in my heart we're a better side than Paraguay and Australia, and whoever comes through that playoff, whether it's Slovakia, it could be Slovakia, it could be a debut in Kosovo, it could be Romania. Low-key, I kind of hope it's Romania, because if it is Turkey, that just makes the group that much more menacing. Turkey's another team we played recently. We lost to them. So overall, those are my thoughts on the groups. Let me know what you think.